these are all banned chemicals which are not around. More than 40 years back they were banned, 40, 50 years back, many of them. But today's children are having in their body so high concentrations of them. Let's say our grandmother had a small exposure, that came to our mother. Mother had a little more exposure, which came to us. Okay. Now we have much more exposure, which we are passing on to our children. They have already born with so much more exposure, so their children even more. So with every passing generation, that load is only increasing. We are opening such a kind of a Pandora's box. There was a study done in 2012 in California. Now, the study was based on children 2 to 7 years old, 2 to 7 year old children, and they measured the toxic load in their body. Okay. Carcinogenic toxins, cancer causing and other toxins. What is the kind of toxic load? They found the toxic load was 100 times exceeding the cancer limit ratios. 100 times, which means, if they say the safe limit is, 1, here 100 was the thing. More than 100 times in many of the toxins. Okay. And what were the toxins they found? I mean, some of the toxins, arsenic. Okay. Arsenic is a naturally occurring toxin. Okay. It's used in paint dyes today. It's used in certain antibiotics given to the chicken. Okay. It's also used in pesticides and poultry feeds. In chicken, it's used a lot, arsenic. Why, you may wonder why it is. I mean, one is, of course, as an antibiotic it is used, but there is another reason. It is the arsenic which gives the nice pink color to the chicken meat. So people want that nice pink color. Okay. Other is dieldrin. Dieldrin was developed as an alternative to DDT. When DDT was banned, they introduced dieldrin. It is 5 times more toxic than DDT. Okay. So this has been banned in 74 in the US. Okay. California study was 2012.
So there is no DDT now?
There is no DDT, there is no dieldrin. DDT was banned even before that. After that, dieldrin was also banned. They introduced dieldrin, they found it was 5 times more toxic, they banned that also. So 74. And at least bans in the US work. It's not like here you ban, then it goes on in the actual market, not like that. So of course it's not being used, but 74 banned, 2012 children, 2 to 7 year old, they found dieldrin 100 times exceeding the ratios. Okay. Dioxin, another highly toxic industrial byproduct, banned in 79. Okay. Then chlordane, which is another pesticide, banned in 83. Okay. DDT banned in 74. Now why am I telling you this? These are all banned chemicals which are not around. More than 40 years back they were banned, 40, 50 years back, many of them. But today's children are having in their body so high concentrations of them. So how are they getting? Where are they coming from? Okay. If you look at the source for dioxins, the number one source was dairy, milk, cheese, butter, all this, dairy. Okay. Followed by meat, fish, then potatoes and mushrooms. Okay. I'll tell you why potatoes and mushrooms later. Okay. For DDE, which is a byproduct of DDT, the number one source again was dairy, milk and milk products, followed by meat, fish and potatoes and pizza. For dieldrin, which is another pesticide introduced instead of DDT, dairy again, number one source I'm talking about, then meat. Mercury, okay, seafood, number one source. Okay. Lead, dairy again, milk and milk products. Okay. Arsenic, poultry, seafood, mushrooms and potato. So if you see out of these 6, 7 which are there, 5 out of those 7, dairy is the number one source, milk and milk products. Okay.
Potato is so widely used.
Yeah. Potato comes much lower in terms of the concentrations, much lower. Okay. I'll tell you why and how it happens. Dairy was number one. Okay. And seafood and other meats, etc., becoming there. Mushrooms or potatoes are there in the list primarily because of the manure used to grow them, the chicken feed. because chicken are highly poisoned, and their shit consists of all these things, and when you feed that, use that to grow as part of the manure, they are absorbent kind of crops. Certain crops don't absorb very well, certain crops absorb very well the toxins in them. Potato, mushrooms do that, and they are both cultivated commercially on a large scale. It doesn't apply to wild mushrooms and all that. But why in the milk of today they are finding it, even though they are banned long back, which is what I explained, the fat soluble. How? Because now they are realizing that this will continue in the environment for a few hundred years before it can be got rid of, even after banning. So that's why the danger, we are opening such a kind of a Pandora's box without knowing anything. We play around with this,
I think we should stop dairy products.
100%. Dairy is linked to so many things. And the third source amongst the children they found, which is unlikeliest, is the mother. Because the mother has stored it, passes it on to the children. So, we have to be aware that what we eat today is not only will harm us, but will also harm our next generation. Okay. In fact, some of the studies when they have done, they have found when a mother gives birth to a child, her toxic load comes down by 50%, which means 50% of the toxins are passed on to the child. Okay. So that is why today if you see the children being born are becoming sicker and sicker from the very early stage. Allergies, asthma, all these are becoming very common at a very early stage. Why? Because every new generation the load is only increasing. Let's say our grandmother had a small exposure, that came to our mother. Mother had a little more exposure, which came to us. Okay. Now we have much more exposure, which we are passing on to our children. They have already born with so much more exposure, so their children even more. So with every passing generation, that load is only increasing.